Okay, so can you guys see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So let's start with the overview of your week 5 and 6 first, or the module 5 overview. So we have here the topic learning outcomes, and then the list of topics that we will discuss under this module. So just read them later on, or just read them now, okay, while we're having this short overview. And we have here the module. So we only have one module for this week 5 and 6, and then we have here the list of external videos that came from YouTube. Okay, and then we have here two PDF, okay, for this module. Okay, suffice or to supplement your learnings with this module, or under this module. Okay. And for the watch videos, so as usual, you will see here the list of the external videos also. So, and yeah, let's just go over with your activities later on. But for now, we have to discuss this requirement analysis, or the software requirement project. So under this software requirement, we have requirement analysis, and we have requirement analysis tool. So there's actually only two parts. So I thought there were three. Anyway, this will be just a quick discussion, since everything is very straightforward. Now, in putting everything, or in whatever you're going to put your documents, so you have to follow a certain standard, or you have to follow a certain quality standard. It's a standard quality rather. Okay. So we have here the types, or different types. So depending on the content, or depending on your inputs to your document. So it should be atomic, it should be uniquely identified, and should be complete, of course. It should be consistent and not ambiguous, or it should be unambiguous. Okay, or it should be traceable, should be prioritized, or it should be testable. Okay, so to make your documentation perfect, you have to follow this standard quality right here. Okay, you also have here the charts for each of requirement analysis. Okay, so we have here an example, consider example of an educational software system where a student can register for different courses. So one by one, we'll discuss what is this atomic, what is this uniquely identified, etc., etc. So we have these three columns right here, wherein the first one is the requirement quality, okay, or what is the quality standard that we're saying when it comes to atomic, when it comes to uniquely identified, and so on and so forth. The second column is the example of bad requirement, or the things that you should avoid, okay, or not to do in terms of putting information about that topic. Okay, and then the third column is the good requirement, or the thing that the quality, or the thing that you should do in terms of documentation. Okay, so for example, in atomic, let's start with the bad one first. So students will be able to enroll to undergraduate and postgraduate courses. So this one is well, yeah, it's also okay, but this one is a lot better. Okay, so in here we divided this one into two, wherein students will be able to enroll to undergraduate courses. At the same time, students will be able to enroll to postgraduate courses. So the requirements should be at very low level of details. It should not be possible to separate it out into components. In this example, the two different entities are stated in one single requirements. Okay, so it should be a more low level. Okay, instead of trying to understand this one sentence right here, where in it's trying to say two information at a time, but you can actually make it more simpler by separating them into two requirements, or a single requirement. Okay, so we call it one atomic. Okay, so next one is uniquely identified. So in here we have one dash students will be able to enroll to undergraduate courses. And then one dash, students will be able to enroll to postgraduate courses. So this is already good since you've applied atomic, okay, since you've separated uh, two entities into a different requirements or single requirement. But one thing that you're missing is the identification, wherein you've used here one, you still use here one, okay? So it must be something or, somehow like this, wherein under course enrollment, you have two. 1.1 is students will be able to enroll to undergraduate courses. And then we have here 1.2, students will be able to enroll to postgraduate courses. So in here, this one is a lot better to understand or represent this kind of information. Okay, so all requirements can be identified uniquely wherein. And here, that is one thing that you're missing with this uh, part right here on the second column. So are we clear so far up to this point? Are you guys able to follow?
Yes, sir.
So we call this one proper identification. Okay, so 1.1, and then 1.2. Next one is complete. So yeah, let's start with the bad one first. So a professor user will log into the system by providing his username, password, and other relevant information. So this one is bad since you're using an open statement wherein you said other relevant information. So what is that other relevant information? So it should be something like this. A professor user will log into the system by providing his username, password, and department code. So that other relevant information is actually the department code. So as much as possible, it should be specific and it should be a complete thought or information. And then it should be, a close and ended information. So do not make your reader to wonder what is that relevant information that you're seeing right here. Okay, so you should be specific and complete. So requirements must be precise and complete. Avoid using confusing statements such as etc., others, and so on. In this example, other relevant information is not here. Okay, so we have other more terminologies out there in it's very confusing or unclear to the reader. Okay, so that's it pretty complete. We also have here consistent and unambiguous. So let's start with the bad one first. The student will have either undergraduate courses or postgraduate courses, but not both. Okay, so some courses will be open to both undergraduate and postgraduate. So this one is very bad since you're already confusing your reader. So you mentioned here either undergraduate or postgraduate, but you mentioned here but not both. Okay, so you can just simply remove that not both and then just simply uh retain that word either. Just avoid confusion. It's like repeating what you're trying to say in here. Okay. So this is the correct one. Just make it more concise and more uh, easier to understand. So a student will have either undergraduate or postgraduate, but not both. Wait a second. So it seems that it is me, the one that I made a mistake with this one. So the one that is removed is some courses will be open to both undergraduate and postgraduate. Okay. So my apologies with this one. So this one is not the one that's not removed, okay, but the word open to both, okay. So not both or yeah, or not this one, but it should be this open to both, okay. So we just simply remove this one and then just retain the original first sentence, okay. So requirements must create conflicts with one another. So in this example, it uses the term either and not both, but in other statement, it indicated that there are courses that is undergraduate and postgraduate. So uh, in other words, you just have to be consistent. In here, you're saying that you can just choose one, but in here, you can choose both, okay? Or that undergraduate and postgraduate can choose both, okay? So just be consistent and be more clear with your sentence. So again, in here, the one that is quite confusing is the open to both. Okay. So I hope we're clear with this one. Next one is traceable. So let's start with the bad one first. So maintain certain information map to BRD requirement that ID and then question mark. Okay. And the correct one is a maintain certain information map to BRD required ID 4.1. Okay. So in here, what is that requirement ID, or what is that required ID? Okay, or what is that rec ID? Okay, so it should be traceable. Okay, like for example, that ID is 4.1. So take each and every business requirement and map it to the corresponding one or more software architectural and design requirement. Okay, wherein should be able to track down where is that, or what is that ID that you're talking about. Okay, so are we clear so far up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Right? So only two, only three. Anyway, so we have another quality standard here we're in prioritize. So let me make it simple. In here, we have priority one, priority one, priority one, priority one. So you have to know your real priority. So what is more important? This one, or this one, or this one. Okay. So this is the correct one. Okay. So registered student has a priority one. Maintain user information has a priority two. Enroll courses has also a priority one, and then the view report card is the priority three. So make guideline which requirement that able to implement first and which can be done later on. So in here, you have to finish this priority one first before the priority two and before the priority three. Wherein in here, it's like you're prioritizing everything. So as much as possible, avoid doing squad. So just focus on one task first before you can move on to other tasks. Okay. And then last one here, this is the last one. Yeah, testable. This is each page of the system will load in an acceptable time frame. Okay. So this is a bad one since you already confusing your confusing the reader. So what is that acceptable time frame? Okay, so as much as possible, just be more specific and then be more clear with your sentences. So the correct one here is the register student and enroll courses pages of the system will load within 5 seconds. So that time frame was actually 5 seconds. Okay, so being testable means that there is a clear scope and criteria for every requirement. In this example, there are two problems with this. So requirement first is that each page, meaning that there can be many pages, okay, which going to blow up the testing efforts. And then the other problem is that it says the page is going to load an acceptable time frame. Now, what is acceptable time frame? Acceptable to whom? Okay, so you have to be specific, okay, with your sentences or ideas. Okay, and yeah, that is the last one for the quality standards or standard quality when it comes to uh, you know making your documents or documentation of your project. So any questions so far before we proceed to the requirement analysis tool? Let me ask you guys one by one. Jasper,
No, no question, sir.
Ryan, Roger,
Sir? No questions, sir.
okay, Segun,
No questions, sir.
okay, Giselle,
No question.
Giselle. She's not around. Anyway, Grace.
No question po.
So Giselle just chatted that she doesn't have a question. Okay, no question also for Grace. Okay, let's now move on to the last topic, which is the requirements analysis tool. So we have a lot of tools that we can use when it comes to requirements analysis. Number one is a DFD or a context diagram. So a system context diagram represents all external entities that may interact with a system. So you could just say that this is the things that will use your system, or this are the people or the user who's going to uh, you know use or are related or connected to your system. So let's say you have the sales order system. Of course, in the sales order system, we have the manager, we have the employees, and then we have the customers. Okay. So in here, under the sales order system, so we have here the employees list, the vendor and product vendor, and then the manager is also the one that in charge in who are uh, the new employee or the employees is going to be on this project, on this business. Okay, so for the employees, of course, we have the paid employee, okay, and then the product and category, and then for the customers, we have here the order invoice that you will give to your customers, and then the products, okay, that they will buy on this or from this customer. Okay, it could be via calls one online, or it could be on the store itself. Okay, so yeah, this is just a simple PFD. So we have here the major. Where is it? One. We have here the external entities rather. Okay, we call this one entities, external entities, and then the internal entities. Okay. So next one here is the functional decomposition. So this one is somewhat similar with this one. It's just that it has more like levels. Okay, so again, we could call this one as your level 0, or your system itself, which is the Malita District Hospital Management System, and then the people or the features that is connected to your system. So we have here administrator, receptionist, billing officer, pharmacist, and then head nurse. And then the things that it will do under this administrator, we have system maintenance, staff registration, staff information, and so on and so forth. So we call this one functional decomposition. Okay, so this is somewhat similar with the breakdown structure, the WBS. Okay, another one is the use case diagram, which is more easier to understand when it comes to users perspective. So use case diagram models different types of users interact with the system to solve a problem. As such, it describes the goals of the users, the interactions between the users and the system, and the required behavior of the system in satisfying these goals. So use cases define interaction between external actors and the system to attain particular goals. So a use case diagram contains four main components. Okay, so we have here the actor, use case, relationship, and then system boundary. Now, if you guys are also enrolled in CPE drop, so I discussed this one in a step-by-step scenario, or on how to create a use case diagram. But yeah, it has this four major parts, or four major elements: the actor. So this one could be a human or other external system. So MC actor, it's not always the user, but sometimes it's the system itself, or the other system rather. Okay, and then say another system again. Okay, so you can have two external system or three external system. Okay, and then we have your use case, wherein this one describes how actors uses a system to accomplish a particular goal. So use cases are typically initiated by a user to fulfill goals describing activities and environments involved in attaining the goal. Okay, so that is the one that is insight. And relationship is the arrows that connects your actors and use cases or the features of your system. And then system boundary is the this one itself. This is clear right here. Okay, so your boundary that defines systems of interest in relation to the world around it. So here we have the customer, the service authentication, identity provider, credit payment service, people, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I will just include here the the use case or the black diagram. So I call it one black diagram or use case diagram, okay, on my CPE draft. So I'll just include it also here in case that you are not enrolled in CPE draft yet. Okay, so yeah, this is just an overview of one requirement analysis tool that you can use in showing or in giving an idea of what is your project all about or how does your project really work. Okay, so I hope I'll be clear with this one. Anyway, so we have here the next one here is sequence diagram. So this is another tool that you can use to show to your let's see, a user or the one who's going to buy your project or product. So a sequence diagram, from the word itself, sequence diagram, we have here from top to bottom, from left to right, okay, or also from right to left. So depending on the arrow. So this is a requesting edit sequence diagram. We have here the customer, and then the cloud database, and then the errand application. So of course, the customer will log in first, and then it will be checked, or your login details will be checked by this cloud database. And then once it's verified, then the user details or the user type will now go to this application, or it will process by this application, and then will now be displayed to the customer interface. And then you can now send errand request, and then you can just or the system will validate it, okay, and then display the confirmation, and then confirmation errand request, and then it will be or it will update the database because you added or you say you send a request or an errand to this application, and then errand request list will now go or move or will be sent to your errand application from your cloud database, and will now go back to the customer's user interface. So it will display here that the errand with pending status. Okay, so this is a not complete. So this is just about sending, okay, or requesting, okay, an errand with the use of this application. So another sequence diagram is the where you're going to accept an errand. Okay, so this one is the errand runner. Let's see, Grab or Lalamove or LBC or Ninja Ban. So the riders was going to deliver your errand, okay, or the item to your house. So of course he will log in first, and then the same check login details, and then it will send back to the application, and it will be displayed to the errand runner, and then send a search for errand request, and then that guy will see the things that he will do, for that errand. So maybe there's 3 errand requests or 4 or 5, and then it's going to select errand request view. So what is that product, or what is that thing that he's going to deliver, and then request access to view details, etc., etc., and so on and so forth, until it will display updated errand request with waiting for confirmation status, until or up to the time that he'll be able to deliver that to your house or to that specific address. Okay, so yeah, I guess this one is easy to understand. So it's just like reading the things that will happen, okay, once you log in, after you log in, okay, while waiting. So where is it coming from database, etc., etc. Okay. So are we clear so far up to this point? This sequence diagram.
Yes, sir.
What about the others?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, these informations that I'm saying to you right now is of course not enough. So that is why you guys have to check these videos right here. Okay. On how to write the software requirements. You can start with this one first. Okay, and then how to draw a data flow diagram or DFD, the first one, or how to draw FPD or the functional decomposition diagram, or how to create a use case diagram, or how to create a sequence diagram. Okay, so those are the tutorials, and then more explanations on why to use that certain requirement analysis tool. Okay, so please check them out. Highly, they are really highly recommended. Okay. Anyway, so there's two more, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's two more. So next one is conceptual diagram. So this one is one of the easiest diagram that we can create. So we have here the errand mates. So this one is somehow similar with this application right here with this diagram. So we have here the application errand mate, and then of course the people who can access this one is the customer, and then the errand runner, and then it's also connected with the database, of course. Okay, so yeah, as simple as that, and this one is the conceptual diagram. And then we have here a more detailed information, which is called the conceptual framework. Okay, we have here the where is that? Okay, this one, the entirety is the application itself. Let's just see add and made, and then within this we have here the mobile and then web interfaces that your users will be able to see. Okay, and of course it's connected to the internet, and then it's also connected to the GPS or geodata, since might or your application might need to access the location of your customer, or the or let's say just errand meet. So it really needs GPS for the company to track uh, his errand runner. Okay, and then of course it's also connected to a web server, to a database, and then to the people who can, or who's controlling or who's managing this web server, which is of course the administrator, and then the corporate users. So yeah, that is it for the conceptual framework. So this is somehow similar with the conceptual diagram, but just in more detailed information in terms of my apologies with that one. So I still have the slide cough. Anyway, so you can start with conceptual diagram first, and then who are the people or the users who can access it. And then inside of that application is a more detailed information that is called the conceptual framework. And this is another framework inside of this framework. Wherein the framework of this system itself. My apologies. This is not connected to this one anymore. Okay, so just remember that this one is a web-based billing application. So this is another application. So this is not an errand application anymore. So this is a web-based billing. So this is just another example of conceptual framework. Okay, so this is the system itself. So it could be from smartphone interface or the desktop interface. Okay, and then we have here the database, the admin who can access this application, and then the people is going to use this application, so the end users. Okay, and then the device. Sorry, this is not the people. This is a device that we will use in order to read your bill or water bill consumption. Okay, wherein we are now using a smart meter. So yeah, that's it for the module 5. So just a short introduction on what is the requirement analysis or the standards that you guys need to follow, and then tools that you can use in showing or presenting your project. Okay, so we have DFD, we have FDD, we have use case, we have sequence diagram, we also have conceptual diagram, and then conceptual framework. So I hope you guys were able to get some ideas. So this is not the detailed discussion, so just an overview of the things that you can do, okay, or the things that you need to do or you need to follow in terms of your documentation. All right, so we still have 5 minutes left. So any question or clarification so far? All right, so it seems that there is no question. So let's now move on to the last 2 activities. So in this software or system requirements, so your aim here is to create a software or system requirements specification, especially or specifically here, list 3 software requirements of your project that will meet the different types of requirement quality. Okay, so that project that we're talking about is your title proposal. Okay, so I need you guys, so you guys have the same group members for this lecture, but maybe different group mates in laboratory, since some are already done with the lecture, and yeah, some maybe didn't get the lecture, so that is why you don't have the same group mates in a laboratory. But most likely there's 2 or 3 who's in the same group. So just yeah, whatever is your title proposal in our laboratory, just list 3 software requirements of that project of yours. Okay, and then create a feasibility assessment and project scheduling of that title proposal of yours. Okay, so are we clear so far with this one? Okay, so this will be,
Yes, sir.
just easy if you already have the title proposal and if it's already approved. So we'll see if your project will be approved by tomorrow. Okay, so apologies, tomorrow is holiday. Anyway, so I will just put my comments. So we will not be able to meet in our laboratory tomorrow. So I'll just put my comments if it's already approved or not. Okay, so just check them out tomorrow. Okay, and for the last activity, okay, so your aim here is to create a requirement analysis diagram or representation of your project. So the requirements must maintain, of course, you have to follow this standard quality. So it must be atomic, must be uniquely identified, complete, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then I need you guys to create the following analysis diagram or representations of your project. Okay, so I need the context diagram, I need a functional decomposition, I need a use case diagram, and then sequence diagram, and then conceptual framework of your project. Okay, so task is quite simple. I mean, it's very straightforward. Yeah, it's also simple, but just quite a lot of quite a lot of diagrams that you guys need to do, or quite a lot of work rather. Okay. Simple, but there's a lot of things to do. So yeah, are we clear with this requirement analysis diagram or representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the due dates of those activities will be on February 14. Okay, so the same with this one, February 14. And then for the group individual evaluation, you guys have one day to fill out this one. Okay, so February 15 for the group individual evaluation. And then as usual, we have one case study right here. So just read the facts and then just read the question. Yeah, just share your own opinion. Maybe throat now is getting itchy. I apologize for this one. Anyway, so yeah, we are already done. So we will still meet next week, but that will be just a consultation meeting. So as always, thank you guys for coming. I really, really appreciate it. So from 15 to 367. Okay, participants. Anyway, goodbye and thank you guys for coming. So you guys may go now, and then if ever you have a question, so just message me here in my Canvas or in my Facebook account. So goodbye and thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.